Today, watch for our manic moment trigger word. Today's trigger word is dump.
Hello and welcome to our first ever episode of Bipolar and Friends, a podcast where we discuss mental health challenges and issues with various professionals, experts, friends and family, and maybe even my cat. My name is Maggie Milsom, and I'm a registered clinical counselor with the BC Association of Clinical Counselors, and I specialize in the treatment of obsessive compulsive disorder. And I am bipolar. Today, I'm going to sit down and talk with two of my closest friends, and we are going to discuss various anxiety issues and how we deal with them. This is a disclaimer to let everybody know that today we are not providing therapy. We're here to discuss psychoeducation, research, our personal lived experiences, and maybe some tips and tricks to help people who are struggling with anxiety. Okay. I am sitting here with my best friend, Aloma Steele, a talented artist, singer, songwriter, and her husband, Jordan Steele, also a very talented artist, musician, and director of fine productions such as...
Myself.
Did I fuck that up already?
No!
Marketing stuff.
Marketing! Today, the plan is to talk about lived experience with mental health challenges and to go over tips and tricks navigating the world of mental health. Why don't you both tell us what you like to do and what you hope to eat after this is over? Aloma, I'll start with you.
Hi, I'm Aloma. I currently love playing Marvel Rivals. And what I want to eat after this is probably some sort of noodle dish.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah.
What about you, Jordan? What do you like to do?
I like to make music. I like to learn stuff. I like to play a lot of sports, specifically hockey. What I would like to eat after is probably
Apples.
Very nice choice. I enjoyed that.
And also maybe a burger.
Sounds good. Maybe we'll all go for one.
Delicious.
Okay, let's talk about anxiety. Can you remember the first time when you had, let's say, an anxiety attack? And I'm not talking about stress. I'm talking when you noticed like a physiological, emotional difference where you felt like you were dealing with some serious anxiety.
All right. Okay. Actually, yeah, no, that's fair. I think, like, before I ever had my first panic attack, is that... Okay, first of all, is there a difference between, like, an anxiety attack
I
and
think
a panic
it's,
attack?
I call it the same thing.
Okay.
Anxiety, panic, yeah.
All right. So, I mean, I always kind of felt a little anxious, I guess I would attribute that word to that emotion / feeling. But when it first actually manifested, it was during COVID, and I was taking medication for ADHD. I had been, like, previously I've used other medications and they worked for me, but this particular doctor decided to prescribe me something else, and it did not bode well. And my heart started thumping while I was just sitting on the couch. And then I just kind of thought, like, oh shit, I think I'm having, like, a heart attack. I just thought it was a heart attack. So it being COVID, like, I was worried. I thought I was going to die because there weren't a lot of ambulances at the time. So I started, like, getting up and, like, about to write my goodbyes, like, on a piece of paper, because I was like, for sure no ambulance is going to get here, and this is a heart attack, like, I'm dying. Yeah. And then somehow I was like, okay, but maybe I can, like, willpower my way out of this one. Maybe I can just chill in a chair and just, like, think it away. I don't know. Maybe I can muster up some magic. I don't know. So while I was waiting there, the firemen came.
The firemen came?
Yeah, the firemen came first. They came.
They're a block
got
away
there,
from
like...
our place.
Oh, yeah,
so
they got there,
911,
like...
They were the first responders, and then the EMT came later.
And then, and then the ambulance came probably 20 minutes later, half an hour.
Were you there when this was happening?
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I had no like
I
concept
actually-
of time, so
yeah.
I don't know.
It's funny because that was your first panic attack, and I actually knew it was happening. Didn't know
were the
what
signs?
caused it.
What were the signs?
She started like shallow breathing and like, I'm having a heart attack. Just breathe. You're having a panic attack.
So you knew.
Instantly.
But you didn't say that.
I did.
You
just
did?
don't remember. Yep.
Okay, yeah, probably because like
Yep.
nothing made sense,
Nope.
and I wasn't hearing
No,
words.
you had your.
Oh, that's
your,
right. Yeah.
Your head on the counter, and you were shaking, and I was like, "Babe, just breathe. It's fine." It's like
yeah.
you're having what's called a panic attack. I've had that. You think you're having a heart attack. You
Yeah.
think you're about to die. You're not. And you breathe your way through it.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I remember the fireman had like that.
yeah,
Because
they
I
put
didn't
it
have
on.
this watch. That's why I have this watch now. Is because
Yeah.
I was just like, no, there's no way that I didn't know anything about panic attacks. And I was like, there's no way, like an emotion can. I mean, you know that like you're taught that, but you just I don't believe it until I didn't believe it until it happened.
Until you experience it.
Yeah,
You're
until I
like,
experienced it.
Oh, they weren't lying.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, oh no! Oh no!
Yeah.
So what did you do? What happened?
It just kind of went away, like
you
as
went-
a
you
panic
went to
attack does.
emergency.
Yeah, we went to emergency just
And they
to,
checked your
'cause-
heart.
Yeah,
to make
they
sure
did
that
an
it wasn't,
ECG.
obviously.
Yeah, they did an ECG, and then that's when the doctor told me the word panic attack, and then the term, and then I was like, oh, okay.
But this
That's
is
what
the
it
money
was.
question, though. What did they do? Because a lot of times people will go in for things like that, and they just kind of send you on your way because it's a mental health issue. A lot of the times the doctors won't give you like good suggestions and like in terms of like how to help you with that. Like, here's a therapy resource. Like maybe
I
you
actually
should
don't think she did. I didn't really think about that one.
It was pretty busy.
It was quite
It was
busy.
emergency. It was
Yeah.
COVID. They were probably not thinking about. We took up a bed, and
Yeah, I don't
I
think.
think they just didn't think about it. Maybe.
But I think
it was,
that's
that was in
important.
like.
Yeah, it's
absolutely,
like
absolutely.
it's really
Yeah.
interesting that like if you go in for like a broken arm, obviously they're gonna do a scan, they're gonna give you like
Yeah.
a cast and like what to do. But if it's a mental like a panic attack, I find like from my experience of panic attacks, they kind of just like, this is what's happening, now you need to leave.
That's actually kind of what happened, I think.
Yeah,
it
they're like,
wasn't
your
like
heart's
as
not
as
giving up
brazen
and-
as that, but yeah, it was
Yeah.
like she showed a little like in her tone and like I don't know, like her
Yeah.
she was nice,
Yeah.
like the doctor was nice, but I mean it was a huge value for me to know what the heck was happening,
that's true.
and it was like such a moment when it wasn't a heart attack, like so that was nice, and I mean great. Now I mean, you're right. Like you should probably be told, like a follow up. Like this is
Yeah,
what you should do. This
for
is
sure.
what blah blah
Here's
blah.
some resources.
But I think
Yeah.
for me at that time, realistically, it was just like a godsend to know it wasn't a heart attack.
Yeah.
And I was just glad. Okay, cool. Now I know what it was, and now that I also know that it's done now. I can go home and do my own research, which is what I did. And for however many months, I just didn't stop thinking about it. And they kept occurring. And then they eventually, like, kind of subsided.
So do you both have a plan of action now that when you feel like it's escalating, you both know what to do?
I think we both have our own kind of ways to cope. I need, like, we both have actually, now together, I think, we take theanine and magnesium together. Like
Okay.
theanine is
It's an
an
amino
amino
acid.
acid,
Yeah.
and mixed with magnesium, like it's kind of it gives a relaxing effect.
Interesting.
I
did not know that.
I got some right here.
Yeah,
I'm anxious right now.
I know.
I mean,
Yeah,
no, we took some before we came down. It's like when
Yeah.
you're going to get into a stressful situation that may provoke a panic attack. Because what I think is really important is knowing kind of like your triggers,
Yes.
right?
100%,
And trying
yeah.
to mitigate the triggers as much as you can before, and then have like an exit strategy,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
But that's like a plan that I'm
Yeah.
assuming that you learned because of what happened to you.
yeah.
yeah, because
And then a bottle of water for me.
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
a bottle of water, whether it's or not. It might be to drink, or it might just throw on me. Like if I'm getting real bad behind the wheel, especially, like I want water. If I'm going over a bridge, I'll try and remember to bring water. So then, you know, I don't know. Bridges mean for longer travel to me. I know it's weird, but
Well, it's funny how it manifests a lot of times too, right? Like your triggers are your triggers. Like yours was, you were actually just on the couch
yeah.
when that happened.
Yeah, why did it happen?
You know, I think to be completely honest, is because Ritalin. It was Ritalin I was taking.
Yeah.
And it was a new drug for me, and it wasn't making me feel super good. So I kind of like looked back at the papers, you know, that comes with all your medications, like the instructions
Yeah.
and like the warnings.
Yeah.
And dumbass me, like I went right to the warnings. It's like, I'm not feeling that great. And it said like, the words were something like, if you're experiencing like heart palpitations or like increased heart rate, stop immediately and call a doctor. And it was just in this bold printing, and I was like, I'm like, this is exactly what's happening to me. And then it like manifested into a panic attack.
It's interesting because I find like with like, because I have panic disorder and I work with people that have anxiety disorders, and oftentimes like it's almost like the anxiety is scanning for a threat, like it's looking for something to attack.
Yeah.
And then we start to catastrophize. And
Yeah.
then the biggest thing with anxiety is thought action fusion. If I think it, then it's reality.
Yeah.
Like your thoughts mean meaning. Like your thoughts are real. Basically, it convinces you of a reality that's not true, and it's so scary because it feels real.
Yeah.
And then once you do it, you realize, oh, that was all in my mind. Like that thing that I have to do, even if it's just something like small, like I have to send this email. You'll put it off for 3 days when you could have just done it.
Yeah.
But you've catastrophized in your head that this could go wrong, this could go wrong,
Yes.
this could go wrong. So that's like part of the anxiety is
Yeah.
just telling you all these things could go wrong, and then I got to do this and blah blah. And then you send the email and it's just like, thanks. And you're like, why didn't I do that 3 days ago? I've been worrying about it for 3 days, right? Like I've been like anxious about it for 3 days, and it could have just been gone. But you don't realize that until you go through it, and then you have to work your way through, like building yourself up to just doing the simple things. I think a lot of times.
Yeah.
But
No, I think
that's
that's
just my experience.
That's a really good point. It's like, well, what you're describing is exposure.
Yeah.
Like allowing yourself to do the thing that you're afraid of, and then you just mentioned that, okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
This too shall pass.
Yeah, exactly. But again, like I think you make a really good point. Like when you're in it, it's so hard to see things logically that it just goes out the window.
Oh yeah.
You're
Yep.
not thinking straight. You're
No.
just
You're running
well,
off a
let's roll.
plane, telling your husband you're not going to go on this trip.
Well, I think like, from a what's it called, like a neurological perspective, like your prefrontal cortex, which is the decision making, like the smart part of your brain, totally shuts down.
And then it becomes fight or flight.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
exactly what happens.
Yep.
So, the more you know. How comfortable do you feel like sharing your experience with anxiety? Like, when did you realize that this is not just stress? I'm having an anxiety attack or a panic attack.
I will shorten my stories because they are long.
Okay, that's okay. I want to hear the full Jordan Carey version.
That we will do off the podcast. You will get all like the the highlights of it, but there's a lot of like kind of color that I like to put into my stories. There's a couple of different things. Like I've always been a pretty happy guy. Had a little bout of depression there years ago, but then I was back. I was playing in a band, so there's two different stories that really kind of triggered it. And mine is more of like a kind of a physical trigger versus a physical trigger that then became a mental trigger. Mm. So I was playing in a band, and I had two shows this one day, and I got food poisoning. I had to do both shows in the same day, and I was pooping everywhere.
Oh
But I had to do the shows, right? So then made it through it. That was fine. Good. I'm like, okay, well, we can move on from that because I haven't really been scared of a lot in my life. I'm like, yeah, let's roll. Like I'm like that energy guy. I went to Vegas, and this was like about 3 weeks after that first incident happened, and on my own accord, my own fault, I partied for over 24 hours with no sleep, ate a big buffet, and then decided to get on a helicopter to go to the Grand Canyon.
Oh my God.
Seems like a great idea, right? We all make bad decisions in our life. So I got the helicopter because I loved planes. I loved helicopters. I loved like vehicles. I loved traveling. I loved doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
All that stuff was just like right in my wheelhouse. And I'm like, yeah, let's do this. First 10 minutes, amazing. And all of a sudden we hit an air pocket. And all of a sudden, you know, if you're ever in a helicopter and you hit an air pocket, the helicopter goes up and it's like that.
Oh my God, I even felt that.
So
just now.
everything that I had been putting into my body as a dum-dum went whoop. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no. I have to poop. It's like now, right? But as you know, in a helicopter, there's no like bathrooms,
Yeah.
right? You're not on a plane. And the only way you can talk to the pilot is by, you know, grabbing the thing, the walkie-talkie,
speakerphone?
which is on a twirly thing that will snap back if you let it go, which I
Alright.
found out, which then hit the girl beside me, which was also having a panic attack at the same time, because he wouldn't allow me to land right there, we can land right there. He was like, how long till the Grand Canyon? He's like, about under 45 minutes. Any stops in the way? No, sir. But we're right there. No, I'm like, let it go, and it hit there, snap back, and this girl I didn't even realize because I was in the middle of my mania, because like I'm physically like about to poop, right? And I make it to the Grand Canyon. Do you want the details of the funniness that happened when we were in the bottom of the Grand Canyon?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so this is the kind of funny part of the story. So I hop out of the helicopter, and I'm like, there's like a champagne thing, so I slam a thing of champagne, and I go running over the hill, take a picture of the cactus that looks very phallic, and keep going over the top of the hill. And I'm like, I'm taking off like my socks. I'm like, okay, this is gonna happen. I'm in the Grand Canyon. Like, oh my God, I'm gonna poop in the bottom of the Grand Canyon. Just feeling bad about myself. So I drop pants, get there, and all I hear is, and another helicopter comes over the ridge, and all they do is see me with my pants down in the bottom of the Grand Canyon, and all I can see is them, like an entire family, pointing and laughing at me. And I just pull it up, walk back, get back into the helicopter. I'm like, oh no. And I know now how long, like how bad it's getting and how long I have to go. And I tried to jump out of that helicopter. As soon as we started taking off, we were, you know, it would have hurt. It wasn't like high enough to do anything worse. But I actually had the door. I was trying to get out, and my brother was with me. I had me breath. And I was like, no. Like, I was like in full on mania, like panic. He got me down there, and then we went back to Vegas. Luckily, nothing happened there.
But wait, did you poop?
No. Not until we got back to Vegas. I managed to hold it, like, physically.
How? Okay, sorry. Keep going.
But, you know, like, well, it was the thought, like, because of what had happened before when I actually physically couldn't hold it.
Yeah.
Like, I could. I felt like I had to, but I started to panic because then claustrophobia came in, and then I started to, like, have this big panic attack. Right? And it sounds like I'm doing that right now with this. But, so what I did, like, this is the first time I'd ever, like, experienced anything like this. When I just had my head in my hands, I just kept singing Fall Out Boy. We're going downtown in an early around. Sure, we're going down. So I was just singing, sure, we're going down swinging, just to, like, take my mind off the fact of this, right? So we made it back. Life goes on. Then, because of those two, like, kind of traumatic incidences, I couldn't go back on stage.
Oh my God.
Because my brain was just like, if you go on stage, you're gonna poop yourself. You're gonna, like, shit's gonna happen, literally, right? And so it became a thing, and then I couldn't get on a plane for a long time, or I'd get on a plane, I would start to panic and panic and panic. I was on this one plane, we were taking off, because, like, as long as I know, again, exit plan, as long as I knew that there was a bathroom, I was fine. But it's in that takeoff, when you can't get up, you can't go to the bathroom, and the landing. And that's when the panic attacks started to hit, because it was like this physical thing that I had remembered from before. It's like, and it was just anxious. And so that started to manifest itself, and I wouldn't take certain shows, right? Or I would think ahead of the time. Like, I'd take a show and I'd be like super excited about it. Then I'd start in my head to be like, I'm going to poop myself at that show, right? And then that anxiety, so the brain took over, because there was no reason for it, right? And, like, literally 5 minutes before the show is the most terrifying moment of my life because I'm having a full-blown panic attack. People are like holding me and I'm like trying to, like, for the first, I've now learned how to kind of work through it, but it's not easy. It's still not easy, but you know, you have your little stuff. So now when I'm on a plane, you know, when I was going through it, I used to like get a bag of almonds, which sounds counterproductive because I think I'm going to poop myself. But I would wait and I would just take one and I would focus on eating that almond. And I would split it in half and I would be like very particular about the way I ate it. And I would take one more almond. I would put it in and I'd be like very slow. So it's something to take my mind off. I was trying to beat my mind when the body was just fine. The mind told my body that we had a problem. But we didn't. Right? So that became like an actual like thing, and it's still a thing. And it manifests in other ways. Like I think I beat it for certain things, like flying right now I'm pretty okay. But now it's, you know, it's manifested into like kind of like driving and stuff like that, right? And
That's interesting.
you know, and it comes out in like job interviews or meetings if you're working. Like I look at like a boardroom and I'm like, nope. Like, nope. Right? But I have to do it. Like it's something you got to do.
Yeah.
So you got to get through it. But it's, as soon as I look at something like that, something that I used to do so easily for the most of my life. Like all these things were just no fear, no nothing, just walk in, own the room, is now avoiding or is actually like fear, panic inducing. And it hits every so often. Like, you know what's going to hit. You look ahead, you try to plan ahead. And sometimes you just still can't. You still can't it just happens, right? So
I like your technique of the almond, actually. Like
making it
practicing presence and mindfulness. That's what that is, and focusing on the taste or the texture and things like that. It might sound like a small thing, but if you're like in a really bad place, focusing on touch or what you can see, hear, the 5 senses, that we use that in dialectical behavioral therapy, is focusing on the present. And like what you can like do, like tactilely, that's a word. And so that was a very clever thing to do, to focus your attention on.
Yeah, it was just something, because the breathing didn't work for me, right? And
That's interesting.
I know like the what is it, the 6-7-6,
The 4-7-8?
or 4-7-8, yeah, whatever
Yeah,
it
it
is.
didn't work for you.
No, it didn't
That's
work.
so interesting.
Because halfway through it, I'd get bored and start having a panic attack, like, and I've done it. Like I'd work through the breathing. Like I've done yoga, I've done all that stuff, and it just didn't work for me personally. But I know it does for a lot of people. So I had to find something else because I'm a very like kind of physical guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, it's the same thing. It's focusing on something.
Yeah.
For me, that would you know, and that was a physical thing of like picking something up. I'm putting it out. I'm focusing on. And then also, anyway, sorry.
Sorry, no, keep going.
No,
I had
that's
a
it.
question.
Yeah, go for it.
So I can understand the association because you were in a helicopter and you had this, I would say, traumatic experience, and I can see how that can translate to planes.
Hilariously traumatic, though. Like, it was funny. We laughed as soon as we landed, and I was okay.
I'm glad that came out of it. But I can see, like,
story.
What's interesting, though, is that, like, I can see the association with the plane ride because that makes sense with the helicopter. It's kind of similar being in the air. But you mentioned that when you're in concerts or if you have to give a presentation, it sounds like the anxiety from that bleeds into other aspects of your life. And I'm just curious about that. Like, why do you think that is like it bled into that?
It's the feeling of being trapped. It's the
Oh my
feeling
god, I
of,
know.
That's interesting.
right? Because I was in that helicopter. I had no exit plan. I would know nothing. And normally, like, when I was growing up as a kid, like if we were on like a long car ride, I'd go if we had a van, I'd go underneath the seats and try and sleep. I loved being in closed spaces. I never, again, like, you know, I didn't have a lot of, like, you always have nerves, right?
Yeah,
So nerves are one thing, and it's good to have nerves. It's good to have nerves going into anything you do because then it like forces you to like kind of focus, right? But that became, the nerves overtook, or like the anxiety or the physical overtook. Because remember, I was having fun for the first 10 minutes. I was just like, this is amazing! Oh my god, I can't believe I'm in a helicopter right now, first time. But then all of a sudden, that physicalness of it, and then that bleeds into Well, I was trapped in that helicopter.
Yeah, yeah.
And I will say, like, this is literally stuff you have no fear about before.
Yeah.
Until that, like, helicopter ride.
That's
like,
so interesting.
But it's, like, actually... So now I always have to, like, because you have no exit plan. Right? You're just stuck. And then it kind of almost maybe goes into, like, claustrophobia now. Right? Where it's, like, I'm stuck in there. And in my mind, I know if I have to, I can get up and walk out. But if you're playing a concert, you don't want to, right? And stuff. That's why I used to love playing the Commodore, because they had a bathroom on side stage.
That's why I was freaked out about the rides. Because, like, once you're in there, yeah, it's only, 1.5 minutes or whatever. But if, like the Zipper, you're in an enclosed, sort of enclosed, but you're in an enclosed space. There's, breathing room. But you don't have control over it. Like,
It went on for
You can't just say
forever.
stop. I mean, you can try, but...
Yeah, it's also lost control, too.
Yeah, control.
totally.
Control and claustrophobia
I
and,
hated
like,
that
being
thing.
trapped.
Yeah.
Like, all those things. Planes, Skytrains. Can't
Yeah.
tell Skytrain to
So
stop.
it sounds like the two of you have that kind of core issue, if I can call it an issue, in common, the sense of being trapped. Like,
Is that maybe a normal, like a common thing in anxiety? Like, it's just interesting that
I think so.
you would feel that
Like,
too.
in OCD, the common denominator, no matter what the subtype is lack of control. And the need for certainty. I need to know that I'm going to be okay. And what causes the anxiety is not having the control of the situation, not having that definite answer of what's going to be, like what's going to happen, right? And so the mind will start to regurgitate and spew at you all these things of, like, what if? And that's what drives anxiety, is the what if.
Well,
Yeah.
that's exactly it. It's like, okay, I know I have this show, or I know I have this meeting. Like, even on Zoom meetings, it was getting bad for a bit there, and then you tamp it down, but it still comes back up. But it's like all I got to do is just go do what I do,
Yeah.
and it's like you're excited first, and you're pumped. You're book this big show. I'm gonna do all this stuff. Like, yeah. And then that little voice in the back of the head comes walking up and taps you on the shoulder, and he's like, "But what about this?"
Yeah.
And you're like, get away, get away. But what about this? Get away. But what about this? And then all of a sudden, like, it just keeps knocking at that door.
Yeah.
And it starts to take over, and now you're like if you offered me, like, SNL, I wouldn't even take it. Being on live TV, I don't think I could do it at that time.
Would you sing an anthem live?
No. But that's
Neither
because
would I.
that's mainly because I'm just not that good of a singer. But and anthems are hard. Maybe I'll play a harmonica live, but
I would love to see that.
that's a callback.
It is.
It's playoffs right now.
Playoffs.
But stuff like that where it's like, yeah, I would take it. But like I used to do like TV shows and stuff like that all the time, with pure on like reckless abandon, way too much confidence than I should have had. Trust me, there were some TV shows that we are glad that they're not there.
Didn't air.
Yeah, but no fear, like a little bit of nerves, like you gotta go pee before, like when you get nervous before like an event or something. Public speaking never really bothered me, going into meetings and stuff, nothing like that. Like all these things, like even driving. My dad, he was like, dude, he's like, what has happened to you? He's like, you were fearless. And I was fearless. I'd jump both feet into everything, head first most of the time, and just go.
That was something interesting. It was before I had my panic attack, before I knew what anxiety was. He was driving to Penticton.
Yeah.
And he had to pull over. Or every time we hit the... Sorry, is this okay if I talk about this?
Oh, no, the first time this happened? Because I never actually had a panic attack driving until that one time. It was out by Abbotsford. It was on a flat.
No. Well, there was...
The coming down the mountain.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
Coming down
But
the
that was
mountain
before... Are you
was
okay if we talk about
afterwards.
this?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So, what was I going to say? Right, I didn't have a panic attack, but you asked me to take over.
Yeah, you hadn't had one yet.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was about. I was like, I honestly thought you went into your head. I thought you went into your head and made up some, like, weird situation with, like, concerning me, because that's how like self-centered I am. No, I'm just kidding.
You're not.
But that's how little I understood about it. I was just like,
Yeah, you had no clue. What was
Yeah.
happening.
Were you dealing with panic symptoms before she was?
yes,
Oh, well before.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Like this was
many years.
when that happened. I was still living in Calgary at the time. Like this is how long I've been dealing with them.
So
Right.
how did you figure out what to do to support him? And what did you recognize as a problem?
Well, I didn't like. I mean, he asked me to drive, and I just drove, and and it was kind of quiet, and I feel really bad saying this, but like because I didn't know what it was, I just thought like.
But when did it click? When did you figure out what it was, and how did
after
you...
I had it,
Yeah.
I guess
okay.
like
So
it's
this
like-
would have been about a
That's
year and a
interesting.
half before you had yours.
Yeah.
We were driving to Penticton.
Yeah.
Right? And we're just
I mean, he
cruising.
said, sorry, to clarify, he said what it was. I just, like, it did not compute because I never had it.
But it-
and I honestly thought anxiety was like, you know, when you read a novel, it makes me sound so red. When you read a book or something and you see the word anxiety, like, you don't think mental disorder. For me, anyway, like, growing up, I always saw the word anxiety. I never thought, like, you know, it was a mental health issue. I just thought it was a feeling. So when you said you had it, like, every time you mentioned anxiety, I was like, oh, it's a feeling, like sad
he's
or whatever.
nervous.
He's nervous. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. Nervous. Didn't think it was, like, crippling, you know? Like, thought, like, I mean, honestly, again, I thought you had something else and were nervous because of it. Like, you were... Like you made up or you thought of something else and you weren't disclosing it to me. So honestly, it was kind of frustrating because I just thought like you weren't like being truthful. Sorry.
Yeah, and that
because
was
I didn't know what it was.
that was a weird one because I'd never experienced that before. Because again, like we used to like take a 15-passenger van and cruise across Canada, and like I've driven the Coca-Cola in a snowstorm in a 15-passenger van and just be like, it's just a torpedo, just let's roll. Right, all this stuff, and never worried about it. Like, always could drive, loved driving. And so we were driving to Penticton, and like we'd been dating for a while now, because it's the first time you ever saw it like that. Actually, you want to see me like kind of get really anxious about certain things, and there was no trigger for this one. It was just we're driving, we're like by Abbotsford or something, flat land, just like straight ahead, and all of a sudden like shake, like, oh, okay, whatever. Grab it with, grab two hands, going. But actually, like, it's starting to, like, get that fear where it's, like, the heart attack fear where you can't breathe, and you're, like, you try to breathe yourself through it, and you're, like, and so she's, like, what's going on? I'm like, and I'm trying to deal with it in my own head, because, like,
That's
tap
it.
it down,
And you were
tap
being
it down.
quiet. That's
And-
what, like...
And I'm never quiet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like, I talk way too much,
That's
right?
why I was like, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
I pissed him off.
Yeah.
Or something like
But-
that.
And we managed to pull over, and I said to her, like, I just had like a panic attack, and I need you to drive for a bit.
I don't know if you used the word panic attack.
I don't know,
Because I
well-
knew what a panic attack was. I just didn't
Yeah.
know. I didn't know how it felt, but I knew what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like you said anxiety. That's why I was like, oh, he's just nervous.
Yeah.
Like he's just nervous.
And that's yeah. So that was a weird one because there was no trigger, there's no nothing. Like I was in control. It's a drive that I've done a million times before. We were having fun. Like
Yeah.
we were eating sandwiches.
It was
or something
super
like
normal
that. Yeah,
time.
it was like actually like the most normal time, and it just snuck up, and it caught me unaware because you gotta always have your guard up, and it just caught me, and I was like, oh no.
Those are really interesting cases because most of the time when I'm working with someone with an anxiety problem, there's an obvious trigger. Like someone that's afraid of germs, for example, they touch a doorknob and they think it's contaminated like right away.
Yeah.
Like we can say like, okay, A plus B equals C. But there are these cases and they're more infrequent, but like it does happen where someone just gets blindsided and there's no obvious trigger. It's happened to me when I'm driving. And I'm like, what just happened? Like why am I losing my mind right now? And I think like there's a lot of unconscious processing happening when we're sleeping and when we're awake. And I think that there's certain things that sometimes we just shove down here, but that's it knocking at the door. It's like, hey, there's something here.
You haven't quite dealt with this yet.
Yeah. And
now,
I think
you're happy, you're okay. That's when I hit you in the back.
Yeah.
Sucker punch you.
Yeah, I think it's like the body's way of telling you like you maybe have something that you need to unpack.
Well, yeah, probably, totally. I just, maybe this is because I can't imagine not, like, having a trigger. Like, I guess, like, the word trigger is a little different for me. Like, if I sense 1 ounce of difference in my body, like, if, like, a hair on my neck, like stands on end just for, like, a second, that can cause a panic attack for me. Because, like, why did that happen? Like, if I feel like if I hear a noise, like, in my, like, I don't know if you guys get this, but it's a weird, like, kind of whooshing noise in my neck. And I always just kind of picture that it's blood going through a vessel. It's probably not. It's probably something else. That, like, whooshing sound gets me, like, is weird to me. Like, that can cause it. Or maybe, like if your heart, like, if you're just, like, if your heart, like, your heartbeat, like, raises just a bit on its own, I can sense that. Maybe you sense that. I don't know. Maybe that, like, just, like, bodily different, like, something that happens in your, is that it? Maybe?
Well, I think, like,
maybe for you.
physiological symptoms can make someone panic. Like, if your heart starts going like this and you start sweating, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm panicking, right?
Yeah.
And so
doesn't that kind of, like, sound like it comes from nowhere, though? Like, you know what I mean?
I think for Jordan, though, like, what I'm hearing is that that's not what it is. I feel like it genuinely sideblinded you.
Oh, it just walked up and sucker punched.
Yeah,
you.
that's what it
So
sounded
what
like.
happened?
But that's the thing. There's not always
There was no reason for it.
a reason. There's
That's
not
what I was
always an
trying to explain
obvious.
to you.
And it does happen. I have this with a few clients where it just, they're like, I'm like, what triggered it? And they're like, I don't know. And it doesn't help to push the person because they really don't know what happened. And that's why I feel like there's an unconscious piece there that perhaps, like, wasn't very apparent in the moment.
Sorry, I mean, like, what happened for you to recognize that you were having a panic
Oh,
attack?
okay.
Oh,
Sorry, I
because-
misinterpreted what you said.
because I'd have
Like, your heart raced, or...
no, it was just like my brain just clicked off. Everything, like, whole body made me want to drive into a ditch.
Oh,
at the moment.
jeez,
Like,
dude.
not drive into a ditch, but, like, it was shaking so much. There was, like,
Oh, shaking.
I don't
Okay.
care. Like, it was just like everything, like,
You said
like-
that earlier, sorry.
yeah. And I was like, because I was looking for like turnoffs, and I was like, okay, I might just have to drive into a ditch right now and just get out of the vehicle, like, and just escape,
that's
right? And I
terrifying.
couldn't, like, no, I wasn't going to, like, it blindsided me, but, you know, I've dealt with it for so long that I had to, but it was like, even just talking about it right now is starting to, like, actually cause like a bit of a physical reaction, but I know that it's going to, right?
Yeah.
So I can get it. This one just came out of fucking
Yeah, those are
Fart
no, it's
nowhere.
okay.
um
Those can be the worst because there's no rhyme or reason,
Yeah.
and then you associate the situation with the panic. They're like, oh my god,
well,
driving is like
now
that's-
driving to Penticton
Yeah.
gives me panic attacks.
Yeah.
See,
right?
but see,
which we're working through that right now. So we've had to work through a couple things, right? So, you know, because of that, and then it manifested on I think it's on the way
Sorry.
back from that same trip. I was driving and we are coming down the Coca-Cola, and you know when you come down from the summit and you got that, like, long, windy, and I'm like, which I used to blast through, loved it, and I was like, now I'm trapped. There's no turnoffs, right? All you have is the guardrail right here and vehicles over here. And I was doing like 50 down there. Normally I'd be doing 150, right? It's the Coca-Cola, but I was like, and you were on that, you were with me, right? And it was like, there's no escape. It's the idea that there's no escape. You don't have an escape plan. You know, like, so when it hits, you don't have, like, so that was another little, like, messed up trigger. But it still all comes back from, like, those first little, in my mind, like, I don't know, but I've spent a lot of time thinking about it. In my mind, it all comes from those first two couple triggers: being stuck on stage for 2 shows, having diarrhea, being stuck in an elevator. It comes back to not having the control and not having an escape plan, and
yeah, because when you're in a car and you're on a highway, you're kind of trapped too in a way, because like you could be in traffic, like you're like, if there's no place to turn off. That's why it was interesting when you said I had an urge to go into a ditch, because that would have been your way out.
that was my exit plan.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So
and I don't mean, like, go
interesting.
into a ditch as in, like, kill everybody.
No. I think you were like, I honestly, I don't think it had anything
No.
to do with self-harm. I think it was about like
No, it was
escape. Like, I need to get out of this now.
I can park right there.
Yeah.
I can get out.
Yeah, that
I
makes
can
a lot
walk
of
around. I
sense.
can get some air. I can do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And that's
But do you see how, like, these faulty associations with danger can occur when you have a really bad experience on the road and you're like, okay, that was horrible. I don't want to do that again. So I better stay off this highway. Right.
Yeah.
And then you have this faulty association with danger when in fact the thoughts were horrible, but technically the situation wasn't dangerous.
No. And understanding it too, like working through it in your own mind too. It's just like, look, this is something I did a million times.
Yeah.
And this is something that happened to me one time. But that one time took over the million times. Because remember, like, muscle memory. If you're doing all this stuff, like if you repeat a task all over, you have muscle memory. You're always going to remember it. But that one time, that's how powerful that anxiety was it overrode all of my muscle memory of, I think I was, 39 at that time, maybe? Maybe I was even 40 at that time. So 40 years, well, technically not 40 years, but about 40 years of muscle memory is just overridden by one experience.
Yeah.
It just wipes it all out.
Yeah.
And it's still there. And you gotta fight that little demon back. But just like, what? And even my dad said to me, he's like, because he's never had anxiety. He's never had a panic attack. He doesn't understand it. And I tried to explain to him. And then we're going to talk about how do you explain something. I was like, Dad, it just takes you over, and it's just, there's nothing I can do. Like, I know what's happening. I know how dumb it seems to somebody outside of it. But when I'm in it, there's nothing I can do about it. It's all enveloping. The only thing I can do is fight my way out of it. Using all these like little tips and tools and tricks that I've developed. And you win some, you lose some. Right? And that's the way I look at it. Is that, it's coming in. I look at it like a boxer. It's like you might hit me a couple times, but I'm still going to hit you back and fight my way out of it, right?
I think that's a really good analogy.
Yeah. It's like, you're coming for me, I'm coming for you. I might lose, but I'm going to still go.
But that's the thing, is like people look at like therapy in a sense like, okay, I'm going to be happy. I want to be happy. And like, that's a great goal. But when you're starting out, like especially dealing with something that you just described, is tolerance. How well can I take this punch and keep going?
Right.
It's like building resilience.
Mm-hmm.
Because happiness and like being like, enjoying your life, that's great. But if you're suffering from a genuine mental health like issue like anxiety, you really want to focus on tolerating that horrible. And the fact that you didn't bail and you kept going means that you tolerated it.
Yeah, and knowing when to like avoid certain situations too. Right?
Yeah.
There's certain situations you can avoid, but also knowing like exposing yourself to it. Like now I'm pretty okay on a plane, right?
Yeah.
Now she's the bad one on a plane because of hers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're the bad one on a plane.
Yeah. No,
and I'm just like, do. Like it might come bubbling up, but I exposed myself to it because I had to. Found out my little like triggers, found how, okay, so now that's that one compartmentalized win I've got. All right, now we got this. We'll work on this. Let's go fight that battle.
Let's circle back to a technique that you used when you were experiencing, sounds like a panic attack. You mentioned
Multiple.
like an almond, like you were chewing on something. Can you explain that again?
Yeah, so I used to have this like routine that I would do because I was so terrified of getting on planes all the time. And I would always buy a bag of almonds at the airport, right?
Hudson News.
And at the what?
Hudson News.
Hudson News. They're not sponsoring this podcast.
I know,
They
right?
they don't get a mention.
Sponsor me.
Yeah, Hudson News sponsor this podcast for people who are scared of flying.
Oh my god, that's so smart.
But yeah, so I would always buy these almonds, and they were green, so I'd focus on getting the green ones, the green salted, sea salted almonds. And these are the very like small details that I had to have. I would have them, and I would have a water and like a Diet Coke or something like that. So I'd have my drinks, I had my almonds, I had my phone or iPad or whatever it was. I would pretend to read a book for a while because I thought that reading a book that I was really into, because I have it on my phone, would like distract me, right? So it's like magic. It's the art of misdirection, right? The panic is coming here, but oh, look over here, right? And you're just like, whoa. But then I would focus in on the physical act of opening the bag, and I would fold up, put it in my pocket so I didn't like leave it on the plane. Don't litter, kids. And I would take one almond out. It was very deliberate and very slow. And I would put it in, I would throw it over to the left side, then over to the right side, back to the left side, and I would crack the almond in my mouth in half, split the almond to the two sides, and then start eating I think it was the right side first and then the left side second. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was just that act. And then, so that whole act would maybe take, I don't know, probably 45 seconds to a minute, maybe, at the very most. But then I would take the next one, do the exact same thing. And that just became, and then as soon as we got out, and that was when we were taking off. As soon as we were done taking off, I was fine. Right, because remember it was that panic attack of like being. So I'm like, oh yeah, give me a beer, give me a whiskey, give me like whatever. And then so I still had like all my almonds, and then we were landing when they would say, all right, we're preparing for landing. So I had figured out in my mind like exactly how much time I had, exactly to the minute type thing, where I would get up, go to the bathroom, make sure, I was fine, come back, sit in my seat, have my almonds in my hand, and be ready for the landing. And then the exact same, it's almost like OCD type behavior. But for me, it was something that I can't control. I can't control being stuck in this tube. I can't control any of that. But I can control how I eat these almonds. And it was physical, it was real, it's the same thing as like when I was in the helicopter and I was having that panic attack. Like remember, I tried to jump out of a helicopter. I was so panicky because it was like the first real time that I'd ever had something like that, and I was unfortunately in a position where I could have done something bad, right? And all I could do was I held my head in my hands, down by my knees, and just kept singing the chorus to Fall Out Boy. Down, down. So I remember I told you that. I was like, here, try this. So now you kind of do it sometimes too. But that was the only way I could get through it because I had to focus on something other than the panic and that. So that's my story.
I think like beyond it being distraction, which I think is like a simplified version of what happened, I feel like you were really practicing presence. So tuning in to like the crunch or maybe how you were chewing it. Like you mentioned left and right and the direction, how you were doing it, and maybe the taste, even the crinkling of the bag, like focusing in on the sound. All these things drive you into the present. So that's why I feel like that technique can be very useful if you are feeling anxiety. So yeah, I think you did a really good job. Did you know about mindfulness before, or was it just like a coincidence that you figured this out?
No, it was more like I looked into mindfulness and stuff. Then, like I said, like I tried the 4-6-8 breathing.
Oh right. You mentioned that
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I tried it, and maybe I just didn't give it enough of a shot. But it for me that didn't work.
Yeah.
It wouldn't calm me down.
Yeah.
And I mean, remember that was a very specific situation. So I would try to do deep breathing. Before shows and stuff like that, and just didn't. Again, my mind, I'm like blah all the time anyway. So maybe that's the problem, is that I couldn't focus enough on it, but I could focus on that.
Yeah.
And that was just for me. But I know it works for a lot of other people.
Yeah. No, that's a really common tactic in the mindfulness community, is to focus on the senses. And it sounds like taste, I would say touch, even sound, like the bag when you crinkle a bag. I know that sounds like trippy, but like when you really lean into it, it does drive you into the moment.
It's like ASMR.
Yeah, I love that.
Right?
I listen to that every time before bed, and it really helps me just kind of fall to sleep, just like focusing on the senses. Do you relate to his story? Do you use a similar tactic? What do you do?
I don't know. I don't do the almond thing.
Sorry.
Sorry.
The
No,
almond
sorry, not
thing.
the almond thing. Like,
No,
I
no,
don't need, like, I mean, I actually can understand that would work. I never really thought about it. I don't know I wouldn't know until I tried it. No, I did, like, I guess it's kind of similar, distraction. Like, I just throw water on myself.
But you know what? That is actually, it's called DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy. What they tell you is that when you are in a serious crisis situation, cold water induces what's called the dive response. So it forces your body into an emotional regulation state.
Yeah.
And so like, that's why like I encourage people in my clinic, like have an ice pack ready. because if you are extremely distressed, you pop it on the back of your neck, and it literally cools you down.
Yeah.
And so
I didn't even think of that.
but you came up with, you're like, you said you splash water in your face.
Just like anything to shock myself out of it.
But that's the same. It's the same. It's the exact same concept. It's like you're
totally.
shocking your body.
Do
into
something, and like even just having it there, I'm like, oh, it's a dumb things. Well, not dumb, but like
I don't think it's dumb.
Well, no, like
Knowing that you
I
have
threaten
that.
myself
Yeah.
with it. I'm like, oh, you don't want to go into panic because you know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna spray water on myself. Here we go, bitch! Like, you know. so like I'll stare at the water bottle. I'm like, let me tell you, like, you know.
That's amazing.
But then-
I love that tactic.
Yeah, but then sometimes you talk about preventative stuff. I just dump it on anyway. The next step that I want to do is if we're going on a plane, I want to have a fan. Because when we went in the summer, the water gets tepid. And you dump it on yourself, it's like, oh, that's nice. I want to hate it. I don't want to like it. I want to hate it. I want to be uncomfortable. Any kind of uncomfortable situation that will take me out of this.
Yeah.
Like cold water, yes. Tepid water on a hot plane, oh yeah. No, but it's not going to get me out of my panic attack. Yeah. It's just going to cool me down a bit in an uncomfortable. It's going to make me more comfortable, and I want to be extremely uncomfortable, but not like, unable to breathe. Uncomfortable.
I think the idea behind like the cold pack, for example, is not to neutralize the anxiety. It's not going to take it away, but it's going to help you go down like a level or two so that you can tolerate the experience, because it's not going to make you happy. That's not what that's about.
No.
It's for crisis situation, like what you just described. But it's like great to have like cold water, like breathing. I guess breathing doesn't work for you, but like another thing people do is like excessive exercise. Like if you're panicked, like do 15 burpees.
Oh, totally.
Gas your body.
Standing up.
Because if
and
your
walking
heart rate,
around,
like for me, like my heart rate is up. It's going up. Let's pretend that it happened because I did physical exercise. That's a logical response to physical activity. Is your heart rate going up? Not a panic attack. Come on, that's
if I'm having like generalized anxiety, like when I'm sitting at my desk working and stuff, and I dropped and do 20 push-ups, 20 squats, all of a sudden you're like, all right, I'm good to go again. Get the like kind of adrenaline and endorphins going and so that.
It's making me think of a study that I read way before when I was doing my BA. They were studying anxiety, and they had like folks go write an exam, and obviously all the students were nervous for the exam, and they didn't do as well because they were so super nervous.
Yep.
And then they had like half of them, okay, we want you to drink a huge cup of coffee before you write your test. And so they go and write their test, and when they were anxious, instead of saying to themselves, I'm anxious, I'm going to screw up my exam, I'm anxious because I had the cup of coffee. And so they attributed they misdirected the anxiety to the coffee. And so they were able to focus more on the exam because they were able to pass off the anxiety as caffeine related. So it's really interesting, like how you can like pinpoint things. Like,
that's totally like
That's
exercise.
super interesting.
Yeah.
That's totally what I do.
Kind of like tricking the body, so that
Yeah.
like you can kind of put it to bed and keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
The more you know. I don't know if I can say that. Am I gonna get sued?
It's okay. The more you realize things that you learned in school.
All I know is that when I take that dump, like you insisted to go.
Yeah, no, I was like, ain't no way.
So we had to get an ambulance to come get her. I was like, I can take you to emergency. She's like, I can't go with you because, like I was.
I don't remember this.
Yeah.
What did I say?
You wanted to go to emergency.
Yeah.
Because the EMTs were there, and they're like, "You're fine," like
Oh, I
and
remember because I
you're
wanted
like-
to be by a professional at all times.
Yeah. And I was like, okay,
Poor thing.
yeah. But I said, look, I can take you.
And I was like, what if I die?
Yeah. But that's the irrationality of having a panic attack.
Yeah.
Like nobody can talk you down at that point in time, especially like the early ones.
So this is the thing. Knowing what you know now, what would you want him to do such should a thing happen again?
Not go on that helicopter in Vegas would be number one. But
Okay.
I know.
So avoidance.
Yeah.
Avoidance can be a tactic, I guess. Avoiding the trigger, but like knowing what you know now about your anxiety and that fact that you can get panic attacks, what would you want Jordan to do? Like what is something that would help you?
I think, like, when I'm in the thick of it, it kind of changes for them. Maybe not changes, but I kind of like to try different things. I think the default thing is to let's just maybe, like, be quieter. Maybe not have absolute silence, because if there's absolute silence, I'll fixate on it. But if there's, like, one buzzing thing in the background, it'll distract me enough.
Interesting.
But if there's multiple sounds, I'll get overwhelmed. It's weird. Like today, or was it yesterday, you were watching the hockey game?
Oh, yeah.
And it was just a bit too loud.
Yeah.
What about, like, white noise? Like, what would help, like, ASMR? Would that kind of qualify as what you're talking about? Like, having something in the background?
I just mean anything, as long as it's not too loud.
Okay.
Anything like a show.
Okay.
Maybe even something that I'm familiar with would probably be the optimal thing.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, like sometimes we'll be like, you know, especially like early in the week or Sundays. I mean, days of the week also, like, you know, when you're in the middle of having like a lot of fun, sometimes you just override all that anxiety. But we were like, you know what, we just need to watch one of our shows. Like, you know, 30 Rock or Brooklyn Nine-Nine, like just feel good shows where the two of us can just sit there and somebody's just got to sit there.
Do you feel the same way, though? Like, if you're having, like,
Yeah,
an anxiety attack, is that what you want for yourself?
Not in an actual like anxiety attack, when I'm having like the anxiety that I feel could turn into an attack.
Yes.
For me,
What would she be able to do for you that you would want?
I think we're still figuring that out, because like everything is so different and it's so localized to the situation sometimes, right? Like there's sometimes where I want her to talk to me. I want her to talk me down. I want her to, and there's other times where I'm just like, just let me be me. And I gotta walk it off or something like that. Like, you know, or there's times where it's, maybe we need a hug, or, you know, or.
Yeah. Different.
Right?
Yeah.
Everything,
situation
there's no one thing. You just have to have multiple. You can't win a battle with one strategy. You gotta have multiple strategies all the time, right? Multiple exit plans, multiple what?
No, it's just that it's funny. Like, yeah, I remembered one other thing that I used to like. I don't do it much anymore, but remember I used to like wake you up in the middle of the night?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, by the way. But I was just like, as long as he's awake with me, like I won't, like, I don't think it'll be bad. Like,
That was in the early days.
Yeah, that was the early, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, that was bad. Oh.
Yeah, as long as you got somebody to fight the battle with you
That's
sometimes
terrible.
too. But sometimes you just need somebody to be there with you.
Yeah, I
while
feel
you're
the same
fighting
way.
your battle. It's
I
just
totally
like,
Don't
agree.
fall asleep. I need
Yeah,
you awake, just
don't-
in case you have to drive me to the hospital.
let's get
Probably
mindless and, you know, like, and it's less about. It's less about really needing anything. It's just like needing somebody, or needing like, I don't know, like
Support.
a
having
support,
somebody-
or an exit plan.
whatever
Just
whatever
knowing-
that might look like.
Yeah, like some kind. Talking it out sometimes works with us too.
Yeah.
Like, why are you anxious, right? And
Yeah.
so, obviously, as you notice, I like to talk a lot, and I like to pinpoint like why I'm anxious sometimes too. But other times you can't. Like,
Yeah.
we'll ask, like, if somebody's doing there, like she'll ask me like, why are you? Because anxiety will like start to go, and I'll get up and it'll just run out of nowhere. Like, having a good day, working away, afternoon, and all of a sudden I'm just like, and like you can tell because I start doing this, and I'm like, oh no, because I feel like my extremities first. I'm like, fart. Start walking around, start doing the dishes or something like that, or, you know, and she'll ask, and like we'll try to pinpoint it, or when you can, because when you've been in a relationship as long as we have, and this is a thing that is in there, you know, you kind of try to figure out different things, like, are you okay? Is always a good. I don't know. Like, sometimes you don't like when I ask if you're okay,
Yeah.
because you can't.
That's
because,
true, yeah.
But that's what we're trying to figure out too. Is like, how many "are you okays" do I get before you start to get mad at me, right? Or same thing with
And
me
the
to you,
but I have to
right?
I have to explain that. It's because like I'm trying to get out of it, and every time you ask me, it reminds me that I'm not.
And
So it's like, damn it, I was
you.
almost out of it.
I'm kind of the same way as well.
You know,
right? Like,
yeah.
you keep asking me, and I'm like, no.
Oh shit.
So sometimes
okay.
we like. So it's a struggle all the time. It's just knowing when to give the push,
Yeah.
or when to let them land the plane.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know, like
Yep,
there's
fair.
and every single situation is different because
Yep.
you can't control anxiety. It controls you until you beat it down so you can control it again, right?
Maybe the best thing to ask is like, I think maybe something's going on with you right now. I don't know. What do you need from me? And like honesty is going to help you out. Like just being honest about
Yeah.
what you need in that moment.
Yeah.
Like maybe I need space. Maybe I need a hug. Just like transparency.
Yep.
Well, we've kind of gotten off it lately, but we had a thing for a little while there, and somebody, I saw it on like, I think it was TikTok or something like that. I don't even know, like, but it was the 5 H's. It's like, okay, when one of us is off, right? It's like, do you need help? Are you hungry? Do you need a hug? Do you need to hump? Or do you need to, what was the last one?
Did you say hug?
Hug, yeah. I can't remember the
Are
last
you
one.
hug, horny?
Yeah, are you horny? Are you hungry? Do you need a hug? Do you need some help? Or are you happy or something like that?
Yeah.
It's happy. I bet it's
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah, right? But all those things where it's just like, sometimes you need a hug, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you need help. You need somebody to like tell you, like step in and give you the
Yeah.
what for.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might just be horny, who knows? Other times you're just hungry. You're hangry. I mean, they made a whole Snickers campaign around being hangry.
I have that.
Yeah, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just low blood sugar and you can't even, like, you think, but when you, I won't even go, but it's like a thing where it's just gonna be like, before we go in there, because I used to always just try to help instantly, and I'd probably piss you off a lot, right?
But that's the thing. We were talking about that earlier, how men, I feel, by and large, tend to be very solution focused. Like,
Yes.
this is how we're going to solve this
Yep.
issue.
Yep.
And women tend to need to express and explore things and, like, talk about feelings.
So now you said that, I remember the 5th H that we could remember. Hear, help, hug, hungry, horny. So it's, do you want me to hear
Oh,
you?
hearing.
Hear. Do you want me to hear?
Yes.
Because it was because
Just
we were watching
listen.
like when it's just like,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
listen.
yeah.
Just
Right.
don't try to fix the problem. Just let
Yes.
me vent.
Yeah.
And that's men in general.
That's funny that you forgot
yeah.
that.
And I thought that in my mind too. I was just like, oh my god, that's so funny. That's the one that I forgot. I have to hear it.
Yeah.
Like, but that just proves it, right? So hear, help, hug, hungry, horny. 5 H's.
That's great, though.
But I think somebody on TikTok, like I can't take any credit for it. I saw it on.
Oh, we're taking credit.
Yeah. But it is good though. It's like, do you want me to hear you right now, or do you want me to help you? And sometimes it starts with hear and then help. Do you just want to hug? You just don't want to talk about it?
Hungry is important.
I'm that one.
Yeah.
Hungry.
I need food.
I mean, if you hold your ribs back, whew, you might burn down the city.
Yeah, no, it's true. If I'm hungry, I'm a different person. Right, Mitch?
Yeah.
That's And thank you, Jordan and Aloma, for joining us today on Bipolar and Friends. We talked about catastrophizing, we talked about pooping, and we talked about how to deal with those things. See you next time.